Hey guys, it's Malcolm from Automotive Addicts. Today I'm bringing you a beast, which is the 2021 Mercedes-AMG GLS 63. The Mercedes-Benz GLS is actually a redesigned vehicle for the 2020 model year, and the AMG version for the 63 on the GLS is all new for 2021. So in making a beast, Mercedes-AMG just pulled out all the stops. This sucker has 603 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque, and on top of that, it's a mild hybrid system, a 48-volt mild hybrid system that can add up to 21 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque on demand when you go full throttle on the vehicle. It's just an amazing experience to have a three-row SUV like this that is essentially the fastest three-row SUV you can buy right now off of the shelf, other than going electric with the Tesla Model X. I think the Tesla Model X kind of has this as far as 0 to 60 times, but in this, you can actually get 0 to 60 under 4 seconds. Some tests have got 3.6 seconds. I did a couple runs. I got about 3.8, 3.7 seconds as my best time. It's just a monster. I mean, everything about this vehicle is just, somewhat over-engineered. I mean, starting with the wheels. I mean, down here you got 23-inch wheels, and the width is 325. That's the width of my Shelby GT350, and that car has aftermarket wheels. I mean, just ridiculous. These are optional wheels on the GLS 63. Usually comes standard with 21-inch wheels, but this one I have here is 23-inch wheels. And they're Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. And look at these massive rotors. Massive cross-drilled and slotted rotors. The 6-piston calipers down here. Just massive. The front tires at 285 width. V8 bi-turbo badge here. I mean, this alone, your car means business. And the styling of the car is it's pretty amazing. It's massive. This grille carried over from the GTR with the horizontal crossbars here is actually a different version of that grille. It's bigger in this vehicle. Biggest grille Mercedes has. I mean, when you see this thing pulling up, you know to get out of the way. And then you got the massive oversized Mercedes emblem here, which is actually a glass panel for your radar cruise control system, and your forward collision warning and all that stuff is under there. And it's actually heated too, for those times you have frost or snow or ice. I mean, it's just an amazing vehicle. Some people might not like the design of it. It looks a little, the proportions are a little funny in some areas, but overall I think they've done a nice job in a cohesive design. It has some of the looks of the GLE with these tail lights, all LED of course. And down here you have these massive exhaust pipes, AMG badged down here. And you have a diffuser. I mean, come on, a diffuser on a family vehicle like this, just amazing. The only thing I ding them for is this wiper. It kind of looks out of place. I think they could have put something up here underneath the spoiler. That would have looked nicer. You got your AMG badging over here, and GLS 63. I'll go ahead and open up the rear. Power tailgate, of course. And you have actually a decent amount of space behind the third row seats, believe it or not. And of course, all the seats, this third and second row, are all power fold. You see your power fold buttons here and over here for the third row. And you have a little bit of underfloor storage as well. I like how they integrated the privacy cover that you can put up here to block your third row. If you want to hide any secret items down here, that's good to have. And one control over here you do have for your air suspension. You can actually lower the vehicle for easier access to lower the floor. And this is pretty cool here. Folding all the seats all at once. Check that out. That's pretty badass. I'm going to do that to bring up all the seats all at once. Once again, badass. Go Mercedes. Our lift gate, close it. there it is, the 4.0 liter twin turbo V8 all in its full glory with, like I said, a mild hybrid system. Basically a torque fill and a system it can rely on for shutting down the engine at times when you're coasting. It does a lot of that. I'll go more into that when we take it for a spin here in a minute. Of course, AMG always puts the builder's name on their engine, handcrafted by, thanks Daniel, for this wonderful engine I get to try out for a week. And getting into the interior of the 2021 Mercedes GLS 63. Here's your door trim. You got this carbon fiber trim here, very nice. Got your seat controls, of course, on the door, ventilated and heated front seats, and they have a massage feature. I'll show you a little bit of that later as well. Got your window controls, lock control here, your Burmeister sound system, and then moving into the interior, your front seating up here. These seats, they might look a little narrow, but actually they are very, very comfortable. They have these serious bolsters. I don't know if you can see how deep these bolsters are. If you look at my hand and see how deep the bolster goes. But those hug you pretty good, but not too tight. Everything about the car is very well thought out. You have your Alcantara suede steering wheel here. Headlight controls for your LED adaptive headlights. Then your infotainment controls down here. Touchpad. And actually it's a touchscreen system up here. Got your air suspension raising and lowering. Have a dedicated damper button for your suspension dampers and a dedicated exhaust for a louder exhaust system. Open up your compartment here. You have some USB ports in here, USB-C port, and a lone heated and cooled cup holder. And the front cup holders are also heated and cooled. Wireless phone charger up here. We'll go ahead and start it up. Push button start. Comes to life. So what you see here in the dashboard of the GLS 63 is Mercedes' latest MBUX, Mercedes-Benz User Experience Infotainment System, and of course their massive gauge cluster, which these two screens are 12.3-inch screens, dual screens. Of course, the one in the middle is your infotainment screen, which is a touch screen. It's a very responsive screen. And in my review a couple years ago of the GLE, that was one of the first vehicles to roll out the new MBUX system, I show you several features, but I'll go over a few of those real quick. But first, just look at this gauge cluster. It is a configurable gauge cluster. Mercedes does really well with these things. I mean, you can put different screens in these circles instead of, you know, the normal RPM and speedometer. You can actually put navigation in the screen as well. I mean, how cool is that, you know, to put your navigation screen in the circle? I mean, stuff like that, just Mercedes just gone above and beyond. And you have your latest steering wheel, which is a very familiar steering wheel you find in a lot of other AMG vehicles. You have a new drive mode controller here to set your drive modes. This controller here, which you can actually set for different perimeters of the vehicle to make quick changes. Very cool touches like that just go a long way. And moving over here to the infotainment system. This thing is just chock full of features. It's all kinds of things. It has a very nice voice response system when you can just say, "Hey Mercedes,
how can I help?
Open the sunshade."
Okay, I'm opening the roller sun blinds.
There you go, it's opening the sunshade for the panoramic roof. But some of the stuff might be a little gimmicky at times, but I think it's a nice, helpful feature when you just want to access something quickly, like instead of going deep into the menus. Like, for instance, turning on your massage seats. You know, I can just go, "Hey Mercedes,
how may I help you?
Turn on the driver's side massage active seat."
I'm switching on the massage on the driver's seat.
So now I'm getting massage while I do this review for you. I mean, how cool is that? It's freaking awesome. And you probably see this ambient lighting through right here. The ambient lighting actually stays on. It's a 64 color ambient lighting system in the car. Again, that's one of those traits that Mercedes has done very well with some of their newer vehicles in adding some nice aesthetics and a nice atmosphere. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm getting a pleasant scent through these vents because there is a fragrance canister here that comes with the car. pumps in a nice fragrance throughout the vehicle, and you can choose different fragrances from the dealership, to fit your liking. But overall, going through the infotainment system, there are many features and menu sets embedded into the system itself. Everything about it is very responsive. You have your vehicle settings here. You have a quick access menu also. You can actually lower the vehicle for upon exiting. You turn on your lane departure, lane keep assist system. There is even a car wash system that's activated for when you're going into a car wash. It'll actually close all the windows and make sure everything is watertight, so you don't, mistakenly get water inside of your Mercedes GLS. As far as connectivity, you have your USB-C ports. All the USB ports in the car, which is a total of 9. You get 9 USB ports in this vehicle. They're all USB-C ports. I'll move to the back. The second row seats, there is a lot of space. Essentially, I think of the GLS as the S-Class of SUVs. You have your climate controls down here. Of course, your heated and cooled cup holder once again. And this one's set up with the bench seat in the middle, so this is a 7-passenger configuration in this particular test vehicle. You do have this center console that comes down here, and this is another cool feature. You have this tablet here, which is actually ejectable. You can eject this tablet. So as you can see on the tablet, it pretty much mimics what you see up there up front on the other screen, infotainment screen. And these seats are actually massaged as well. The outboard rear seats are massage seats, heated and ventilated. And now access to the third row seats. There's a switch back here. Grab that, and the seat moves forward automatically by power assist. It does take a while for those seats to fold, unfortunately, but once they do, it performs a neat folding act, so there's plenty of access to that third row. And getting back here to the third row seats, you see the spacing. It's actually an okay amount of space, but what you'll like about the third row is you get some nice treatments as well. You have your USB ports over here, and you actually have some soft touch surfaces, believe it or not. This is soft touch down here, and the seats are pretty much like the third row seats. And then you have your soft closed doors. Alright, here we are in the 2021 Mercedes-AMG GLS 63, and we'll set off on the road here. Now, like I said before, I probably said it many times in my review, this is just a beast of a vehicle. It's huge, 3-row crossover. It's the fastest gas-powered crossover, 3-row crossover you can buy right now. This is a mild hybrid system in the vehicle for that V8 engine. The twin-turbo V8, the 4.0 liter, by itself 603 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque. And before I said on top of that you can get an additional 21 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque from the EQ boost system, which is part of the mild hybrid system. And part of the mild hybrid system, as you'll notice sometimes when I'm driving, the vehicle will shut the engine off at times. It actually shuts it off sometimes and you just come to a coast, to a stop. A lot of times on the highway, the car will shut off if you're just coasting. I think that's a big benefit in saving fuel on the vehicle. But overall, the start-stop system, I really don't even disable it because it still keeps the air conditioner running. It keeps your air fresh. It doesn't make it stale or warm when the engine shuts off at a stoplight. But that's just one of those benefits of having this mild hybrid system. In fact, there's actually no fan belts on the engine. Everything's internal. Your starter, the starter system, actually when you start up the car and when it restarts from shutting off, is very quick. It's instantaneous because it's working off of that electric motor it has, which serves multiple purposes as the alternator, starter, and a generator to recharge the battery, the small battery that it has. But in driving the GLS 63, it's just a joy. I mean, you're piloting a huge vehicle. You can feel the mass of this massive car. I mean, there's really no hiding it. Otherwise, putting it into the turns and doing some things you really shouldn't do with something this big, it kind of reacts to what you're doing in a good way. But there are a lot of hidden features in Mercedes vehicles. The GLS 63 adds in this neat system for the radar. It's constantly monitoring what's in front of you, of course, that's a given. But on top of that, when you actually start to approach a vehicle, you don't have any additional systems on. Radar cruise control is not on or anything like that. But as you approach a vehicle, it actually adds more drag, it starts to actually kind of slow you down in a way. you know, when you approach a vehicle pretty quick. But we'll get on the gas here. You can hear that exhaust back there. This thing is just a rocket ship. Something this big shouldn't be that fast. If you need to get the family somewhere quick, this is the vehicle to do it. You know, you do it in style while most of the people getting a back massage, you know, getting their butts cooled off, all that stuff. You know, this is where it's at. I mean, there's nothing else like this. I mean, where are you gonna find a 3-row crossover that can do what this thing does? It's just amazing. And like all my other videos, I'll do a 0 to 60 for you real quick. Mercedes says you can get 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds in this thing, but people have got faster. It's quick. Just trust me when I say it's quick. But I'm gonna pull up here. We'll put it in the Sport Plus mode. Sport Plus mode will lower the vehicle just a little bit, stiffen the dampers, advance the throttle position, all that stuff. And it does not have a launch control mode as far as I know. Most AMG vehicles do, but you know, something you're not gonna be doing any track time in. You're not gonna be launching it, but I'm gonna launch it, you know, just in power braking out of the hole. Here we go. Up to 40, 50, and 60, just like that. Yeah, it's quick. But in getting to additional numbers, fuel consumption is okay. I think it can be better. This, like I said, it is a mild hybrid system on the car. It shuts off the engine a lot of times when you're driving, whenever it finds those optimal conditions. I averaged about 22, a little over 22 miles per gallon on the highway. And getting to the final number that really counts is the price. The 2020 GLS and the 450 model, which is this 6-cylinder turbocharged engine, actually starts at $76,000. Now moving all the way up to the GLS 63, the 2021 model, you're looking at spending about $149,000 for this particular vehicle that I have here, which is almost fully loaded, but there's still a few features that are still missing it. And some of you may ask, you know, Malcolm, is a vehicle like this really worth it? And surprisingly, yes, because if you go find any other performance SUV, some of the 2-row crossovers like the Lamborghini Urus, I mean, we're talking about performance numbers that almost match cars like that. You know, you're talking about spending a little over $200,000 for something like that. Mercedes is doing all they can to win me over, and I think they've really done it with a vehicle like this and many of the other AMG vehicles that I've driven in the past. You can check out some of those reviews. I'll link them in the bottom. And make sure you're subscribed. Come back, check out some other cool cars I'm going to be reviewing. And make sure you smash the thumbs up button. That helps me out a lot as far as getting some recognition, you know, getting my reviews out there. But thank you guys for hanging in there, watching these videos with me. It means a lot for your support. And until then, I will catch you guys on the next one.